What if I told you that respect from men isn't about beauty, perfection, or trying harder, but about 6 rules most women are never taught? Rules that don't make you chase, rules that don't make you beg, rules that quietly shift the power dynamic so a man steps up because he wants to. I'm going to share the 6 rules that men deeply respect, rules that change how you're treated without changing who you are. Self-respect is the silent language that speaks before you ever say a word. It sets the emotional temperature of every interaction and quietly informs people how they are allowed to treat you. When a woman possesses genuine self-respect, she doesn't need to announce her worth or prove it through effort, sacrifice, or endurance. Her standards are visible in her choices, her boundaries, and the way she responds, or doesn't respond, to situations that don't align with her values. This is why self-respect doesn't feel loud or aggressive. It feels calm, grounded, and unmistakable. At its core, self-respect is about honoring your own needs even when it feels uncomfortable. Many people believe respect comes from being agreeable, flexible, or endlessly understanding, but in reality, respect grows when you demonstrate that your time, energy, and emotional space matter. A woman who respects herself doesn't tolerate mixed signals, emotional inconsistency, or dismissive behavior simply to keep someone close. She understands that accepting less teaches others to offer less. By refusing to compromise her dignity for temporary validation, she naturally establishes a higher standard of treatment. Self-respect also shapes how conflict is handled. Instead of reacting from insecurity or fear of loss, a self-respecting woman responds from clarity. She doesn't beg for explanations or chase reassurance. She expresses herself calmly and directly, knowing that her feelings are valid whether or not they are immediately understood. This composure is powerful because it shows emotional stability. People instinctively respect those who are not ruled by impulsive reactions or desperation, but by self-awareness and control. Another important aspect of self-respect is the ability to walk away without bitterness. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself not to remain in situations that diminish you. When someone consistently fails to show up, disregards boundaries, or offers conditional effort, a self-respecting woman doesn't argue her worth. She simply removes her presence. This quiet decision sends a stronger message than any confrontation ever could. It communicates that access to her life is a privilege, not an entitlement. Self-respect also influences attraction and connection. When a woman values herself, she doesn't seek approval to feel complete. Her sense of worth is internal, not dependent on attention, validation, or constant reassurance. This independence creates a sense of emotional safety and maturity that people find deeply appealing. Men, in particular, respect women who don't center their entire identity around a relationship. A woman with self-respect has a full life, clear priorities, and a sense of purpose that exists beyond romantic interest. Perhaps most importantly, self-respect protects a woman from abandoning herself. Without it, people often stay too long, explain too much, and accept behavior they would never recommend to someone they love. Self-respect acts as an internal compass, guiding decisions even when emotions try to lead elsewhere. It reminds her that love should feel secure, not confusing, consistent, not conditional, supportive, not draining. In the end, self-respect sets the tone because it defines the rules of engagement. It determines what is acceptable, what is negotiable, and what is not allowed. When a woman respects herself, she doesn't need to demand respect from others. It becomes the natural response. People rise to the standard she sets, or they remove themselves from her life. Either way, she remains grounded, intact, and aligned with her true worth. Actions reveal truth in a way words never can. Words are easy to say, especially when someone wants approval, attention, or forgiveness. They can sound sincere, thoughtful, and even convincing, but without consistent behavior behind them, words are only promises waiting to be broken. This is why actions matter more than words in every meaningful relationship. They show intention, effort, and integrity in real time, without the need for explanation. Many people get trapped by eloquent language, compliments, future plans, apologies, and emotional declarations can feel powerful, especially when you want to believe them. But words alone cost nothing. Action, on the other hand, requires time, consistency, and sacrifice. Someone who truly cares will show it through reliability, follow-through, and presence. They will make time, keep commitments, and show up even when it's inconvenient. These behaviors speak louder than any reassurance ever could. When you focus on actions, confusion begins to disappear. Mixed signals are often the result of listening to words while ignoring behavior. A person may say they care, but disappear for days. They may promise commitment but avoid defining the relationship. They may apologize repeatedly without changing the behavior that caused the hurt. When words and actions don't align, the actions are always telling the truth. Paying attention to this alignment protects you from emotional manipulation and self-deception. Valuing actions over words also shifts power back to you. Instead of chasing clarity or explanations, you begin observing patterns. You stop asking why someone behaves a certain way and start accepting what their behavior already shows. This creates emotional stability because you are no longer dependent on verbal reassurance to feel secure. You trust what you see, not what you're told. This grounded awareness naturally earns respect because it shows emotional maturity and self-trust. Actions also demonstrate respect in a way words cannot replicate. Respect looks like listening and adjusting behavior, not just apologizing. It looks like consistency, not intensity followed by absence. It looks like effort that continues after the initial excitement fades. Anyone can say you matter, but only actions prove that someone values your time, feelings, and boundaries. When someone repeatedly ignores your needs while claiming they care, their actions are showing a lack of respect, regardless of how convincing their words sound. Learning to prioritize actions requires emotional discipline. It can be uncomfortable to accept reality when words offer hope. Many people stay in unfulfilling situations because they are waiting for words to turn into action. But waiting teaches others that promises are enough, even without change. When you begin responding to behavior instead of potential, you set a clear standard. Effort is required, not implied. This mindset also strengthens self-respect. When you honor actions over words, you stop over-explaining, justifying, or negotiating your boundaries. You allow people to reveal who they are without forcing outcomes. If someone consistently shows up, you lean in. If they don't, you step back. There is no drama in this approach, only clarity, and clarity is deeply empowering. Ultimately, actions matter more than words because they reflect truth over intention. Words tell you what someone wants you to believe. Actions show you what they are willing to do. When you choose to believe behavior, you protect your emotional energy, make better decisions, and build relationships based on reality rather than hope. In doing so, you create space for connections that are honest, stable, and respectful connections that don't rely on promises, but on proof. Calm communication is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess, yet it is often underestimated because it doesn't look dramatic or forceful. Many people believe that being loud, emotional, or intense is the only way to be heard, but in reality, composure carries far more authority. When someone communicates calmly, they signal confidence, emotional intelligence, and self-control. These qualities naturally command respect because they show that a person is not ruled by impulse, fear, or the need to dominate a conversation. Calm communication begins with self-regulation. It requires the ability to pause, process emotions, and respond rather than react. This doesn't mean suppressing feelings or pretending nothing is wrong. It means choosing clarity over chaos. A calm communicator expresses thoughts clearly and directly, without accusations, insults, or emotional outbursts. This approach immediately changes the dynamic of a conversation. Instead of triggering defensiveness, it invites understanding. People are more likely to listen when they don't feel attacked. One of the reasons calm communication is so respected is because it reflects inner security. A person who feels confident in their worth doesn't need to raise their voice, threaten, or plead to be taken seriously. They trust that their words carry weight. This quiet confidence is especially powerful in moments of disagreement. While emotional reactions may temporarily overpower a conversation, they often weaken long-term respect. Calm communication, on the other hand, builds credibility over time. Another important aspect of calm communication is boundary setting. When boundaries are expressed calmly, they feel firm rather than hostile, saying "this doesn't work for me" or "I need consistency to continue." In a steady tone is far more effective than emotional ultimatums. Calm boundaries show that you are serious without being aggressive. They make it clear that you are not trying to control the other person, only to protect your own standards. This balance earns respect because it demonstrates fairness and self-respect. Calm communication also prevents unnecessary power struggles. Emotional reactions often turn conversations into battles where the goal becomes winning rather than understanding. A calm approach keeps the focus on resolution. It shows that you are not trying to prove dominance, but to communicate truth. This maturity often disarms manipulation and avoidance. When someone realizes they cannot provoke you into losing control, they are more likely to take the conversation seriously. In relationships, calm communication creates emotional safety. It reassures the other person that honesty will not be met with chaos or punishment. This safety encourages openness and accountability. People are more willing to admit mistakes and make changes when they feel respected during difficult conversations. Calm communication turns conflict into an opportunity for growth rather than damage. Perhaps most importantly, calm communication protects your own dignity. When you speak from a place of composure, you avoid saying things you later regret. You remain aligned with your values even under pressure. This consistency strengthens self-respect and reinforces how others perceive you. Over time, people learn that when you speak, it matters. Your words are not noise fueled by emotion. They are deliberate and meaningful. Calm communication commands respect because it reflects mastery over self. It shows that you value clarity over control, truth over drama, and understanding over reaction. In a world where emotional volatility is common, calmness stands out as strength. Those who communicate calmly don't demand respect, they earn it, conversation by conversation, simply by the way they choose to speak. Letting men rise rather than forcing effort is a principle rooted in self-respect and emotional wisdom. Many people believe that love requires pushing, reminding, convincing, or rescuing someone into becoming the partner they hope for. In reality, effort that is forced is never sustainable. When a woman allows a man the space to step up on his own, she gives him the opportunity to reveal his true level of interest, commitment, and emotional availability. This clarity is far more valuable than temporary reassurance created by pressure. Forcing effort often comes from fear. Fear of being abandoned, overlooked, or replaced. That fear can lead to overgiving, over-explaining, and over-functioning in the relationship. When one person does the emotional labor for two, the balance shifts. The man becomes passive while the woman becomes exhausted. Respect slowly erodes because attraction and respect thrive on choice, not obligation. When effort is demanded, it no longer feels genuine. It feels like compliance. Allowing a man to rise means stepping back from control. It means resisting the urge to micromanage the relationship or constantly check whether he cares. Instead of reminding him to call, plan, or show up, you observe whether he does so naturally. This isn't a game or a test, it's an act of honesty. Someone who truly values you will want to invest without being coached. His effort will feel organic, not negotiated. This approach also restores dignity on both sides. A woman who doesn't force effort communicates that she believes she is worthy of mutual investment. She doesn't need to convince someone to choose her. That confidence is deeply respected because it signals emotional strength. For the man, being allowed to rise gives him ownership. When he chooses to step up on his own, the effort carries pride and purpose. He is not performing to avoid conflict. He is acting because he wants to. Letting men rise also reveals compatibility faster. When effort is forced, people can temporarily meet expectations without truly being aligned. Over time, the mask slips and disappointment follows. But when you stop pushing and start observing, patterns emerge quickly. You see whether consistency is present, whether follow-through exists, and whether emotional availability is real. This saves time, energy, and emotional investment that might otherwise be wasted on potential rather than reality. Another important aspect of this principle is patience without attachment. Letting someone rise doesn't mean waiting endlessly or tolerating neglect. It means creating space while maintaining standards. If a man doesn't step up, the response isn't anger or pleading. It's acceptance and distance. Walking away calmly is not punishment, it's alignment. It shows that effort is the entry requirement, not a reward for persistence. This mindset also changes the emotional tone of the relationship. Instead of tension, there is ease. Instead of constant evaluation, there is trust in observation. A woman who allows effort to flow naturally is less anxious and more present. Her energy becomes lighter, more confident, and more attractive. She is no longer trying to be chosen. She is allowing someone to show whether they can choose her fully. Ultimately, letting men rise rather than forcing effort is about trusting reality over hope. It is about understanding that love cannot be negotiated into existence. True commitment reveals itself through action, consistency, and initiative. When you stop forcing effort, you stop settling for half measures. You create space for genuine connection, or you gain the clarity to move on with self-respect intact. Independence is one of the most quietly attractive qualities a person can possess because it signals wholeness rather than need. When someone is independent, they are not looking to be completed by another person. They are choosing connection from a place of fullness. This energy shifts the dynamic of attraction in a powerful way. Instead of clinging or seeking constant reassurance, an independent woman brings confidence, stability, and self-direction into a relationship. These qualities naturally draw people in because they feel secure and grounded. Attraction often fades when a relationship becomes the sole source of happiness. When someone's emotional world revolves entirely around another person, pressure builds. Expectations become heavy, and the relationship begins to feel like a responsibility rather than a choice. Independence prevents this by creating emotional balance. A woman who maintains her own interests, friendships, and goals does not depend on a partner for validation or purpose. This makes the relationship feel lighter, more enjoyable, and more sustainable. independence also demonstrates self-worth. It shows that a woman values her time, dreams, and identity. She does not abandon her life to fit into someone else's schedule or priorities. This self-respect is deeply attractive because it communicates that her presence is intentional, not desperate. She is there because she wants to be, not because she has nowhere else to go. That choice-based connection feels far more meaningful than attachment rooted in fear of being alone. Another reason independence increases attraction is because it allows desire to grow naturally. Constant availability can dull excitement, while healthy space allows appreciation to deepen. Independence creates that space without emotional distance. It allows both people to miss each other, to look forward to reconnecting, and to value the time they spend together. This rhythm keeps attraction alive because it prevents the relationship from becoming stagnant or overwhelming. Independence also fosters mutual respect. When both partners have their own lives, neither feels controlled or consumed. There is room for individuality within the relationship. This balance reduces resentment and power struggles because no one feels responsible for the other's happiness. Instead, each person contributes to the relationship from a place of strength. Men, in particular, respect women who don't rely on them to manage emotions, fill time, or provide constant affirmation. Emotional independence signals maturity. Maintaining independence does not mean being distant or emotionally unavailable. It means being emotionally stable. An independent woman can love deeply without losing herself. She can commit without abandoning her boundaries. She can care without overgiving. This balance makes her emotionally safe to be with because she is not unpredictable or demanding. Her needs are clear, but they are not overwhelming. Independence also protects attraction during conflict. When disagreements arise, an independent woman does not panic or cling. She trusts that her identity and worth are intact regardless of the outcome. This calm confidence changes how conflict is experienced. It removes desperation from the conversation and replaces it with clarity. That emotional steadiness earns respect and keeps attraction intact even in challenging moments. Ultimately, independence increases attraction because it reflects inner strength. It shows that a woman is connected to herself, her values, and her life. She is not searching for someone to rescue her from loneliness or uncertainty. She is inviting someone to share a life she already enjoys. That invitation feels empowering rather than burdensome. When attraction is built on independence, it becomes deeper, healthier, and far more enduring. Alignment matters more than attachment because attachment alone can keep people bonded to situations that no longer serve them. Attachment is often driven by fear, the fear of being alone, starting over, or losing something familiar. While attachment can feel like love, it frequently has more to do with comfort and emotional dependence than genuine compatibility. Alignment, on the other hand, is about shared values, mutual effort, emotional availability, and a similar vision for connection. When alignment is present, relationships feel steady rather than confusing. Many people stay attached to potential instead of reality. They become emotionally invested in who someone could be rather than who they consistently are. This attachment creates hope that things will change, even when patterns suggest otherwise. Alignment removes the illusion. It asks important questions. Do our actions match our words? Do we want the same level of commitment? Do we communicate in ways that feel respectful and safe? When the answers are no, attachment tries to hold on, but alignment gently points toward truth. Attachment can create tolerance for misalignment. People excuse inconsistency, emotional unavailability, or lack of effort because the emotional bond feels strong. They tell themselves that love requires patience or sacrifice, but over time, this erodes self-respect. Alignment, in contrast, protects emotional health. It doesn't demand perfection, but it requires consistency and willingness. It values how a relationship feels on a daily basis, not just how intense it feels in moments of closeness. Choosing alignment over attachment requires courage. Letting go of someone you are attached to can feel painful, even when the relationship is unhealthy. But alignment asks a deeper question. Is this connection supporting who I am becoming, or is it keeping me stuck? When a relationship is aligned, growth feels mutual. Both people move forward together. When it's not, one person often carries the emotional weight while the other remains distant or inconsistent. Alignment also creates emotional peace. In aligned relationships, there is less guessing and more knowing. Communication flows more easily. Effort feels balanced rather than forced. There is a shared understanding of what matters. This doesn't mean there are no challenges, but challenges are approached as a team rather than as opposing sides. Attachment without alignment often feels anxious, while alignment feels grounding. Another important aspect of alignment is timing. Two people can care deeply about each other and still be misaligned due to life stage, priorities, or emotional readiness. Attachment may push them to force the relationship, while alignment recognizes that love alone is not enough. Respecting timing is an act of maturity. It honors both people rather than trapping them in a situation that cannot fully thrive. Alignment also reinforces self-respect. When you choose relationships that align with your values and needs, you send a message to yourself that you deserve consistency, clarity, and effort. This choice strengthens confidence and reduces the likelihood of repeating unhealthy patterns. Over time, you become less attached to what feels familiar and more committed to what feels right. Ultimately, alignment matters more than attachment because it determines the quality of your life and relationships. Attachment can bind you to the past, while alignment guides you toward a future that feels authentic and supportive. When you prioritize alignment, you don't chase love, you choose it wisely. You allow relationships to exist not just because they are hard to leave, but because they are right to stay.